Hello, and you are very welcome to Dan and Darragh Do Ability. This is episode 9. I'm Darragh McNicholas.
And I'm Darragh, and we are back after a Christmas break.
Yes, we are. It's now late January. A hell of a Christmas break from college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like college. College is good. College is, I like the time off. Time is definitely. But a much shorter schedule this year, Dan.
Yeah, it's tight. It's busy. But I at the same time, I am looking forward to it. It should be.
But no break in the middle.
Yeah, that's
no little
not...
Easter to stop and take stock and panic.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this semester is just going to end.
That's not very nice. But I suppose what I am thinking about is that given that we have to do hand in our thesis, we don't have exams as a result of that.
Yeah, which is great.
So it's cool.
Yeah, I know. We're very lucky that we don't have any exams. So Dan, I think what we'll do today is we will have a little catch up on what we've been up to.
Yeah, sure.
Mostly you actually, because you're terribly interesting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I suppose we, if we can find a little fanfare, we'll put one in now. Dan Airy on first dates.
Yes.
Come on, tell us what you can. Now, we appreciate you can't tell us everything because you're sort of contractually tied up with what you can actually say.
No, so I signed a non-disclosure agreement.
And we will run this past our legal people before we put it out.
Yeah, I did sign a non-disclosure agreement, so there is only a certain amount that I can tell you. But it was a wonderful experience, and I'm so grateful that I went through with it, because
what possessed you?
I think it was just a confidence thing, to be honest, because there've been so many situations that I've gone through that I to be honest, I wouldn't really be able to give you an example right now, but just know that there has been that I've gone, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I say the wrong thing? Thinking about the consequences too much. And I do that. And as a result, it affects me in terms of I decide not to do it as a result of that. I'm too scared to make a mistake. So I was kind of going, let's do this and see what happens, and see how I react and see how it goes. And I just absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. I mean, I suppose taken away from the first dates element of it, even the kind of the TV side of it from
Watching the production.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give much away from from a production point of view, but
just a little bit.
just being able to be in that environment and learning from it, and learning, I suppose, as I was saying earlier on, learning about how I react in those kind of situations. And I suppose I said it a few weeks back, but it was kind of, I think one of my goals this year is just to do things instead of just worrying about what will people think. And I mean, that has come into it because I have actually been struggling a little bit recently with my mind just taking over a bit and kind of going, I'm aware of the media feedback that will come as a result of it,
good and bad.
Yeah, and I'm prepared to take that, but at the same time, it is really, really nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I think we have had a bit of advice from the media lecture saying stay off social media the night it's on.
Yeah, 100%, and that will be followed to a T. But I suppose it's just my mind taking over and saying, this will happen and that will happen, and it won't. And it's just, it's not helpful. So I'm dealing with that at the minute, which is tough. I have better days than some better days than others, but I'm overall I'm really excited to see what what the feedback is.
Yeah, but we're here and we're talking, Dan. No one's listening. It's just me and you. So, it's always good but it is good to talk. But is there anything, when is your show on? I know you can't tell us whether you pulled or clicked, but, when is your show on?
When is the show? So the show is on the 7th of February. At 9:30 on RT2.
Right, so we'll all have to tune in for that one.
Mm-hmm.
We set our VCRs. Because old people still have VCRs. You better believe it. But on the back of that then, you were also out slumming it with the rest of the media on the Late Late Show.
Yes, I was. That was an incredibly...
terribly envious, Dan.
That was an incredibly surreal experience. Because I suppose they did tell me that there would be, media commitment, so to speak, as a result of it.
The First Aids people.
Yeah, but I just, when they spoke to me and they were like, we'd be interested in having you on the Late Late, it was like, whoa, this is happening. And I suppose like that's, for me, first and foremost, as a media student, one, as a person who, like, that is the ultimate dream, to work in that industry and to be a part of
you want to be the other side of that desk, nudging Tuberty out away.
Well,
yeah.
If I could follow on from him, perfect. But yes,
that's if that was your aim, Dan. I think I remember that in first year. I think you said that that's where you want to be, is out presenting the show. So absolutely not wrong with ambition.
Exactly. So as a result, it was mental to be about. It was like I was absolutely breaking it beforehand. Because like the production team tell you can say this and you can't say that and so to speak. And I was aware of that, and I've been talking to them, and they were comfortable with what I was going to say. But at the same time, me, as I was saying earlier on, with the mental side of it, I run it through my head way too many times. But no, like, I watched it back, and I was actually very happy with what I did say.
Absolutely, you came across really, really well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
But let's go back. Let's go back to the start. Dan, you arrived at RTE.
Yes.
Did you go up by Joe Maxey?
I got a lift.
You got a lift. Okay, fair enough. So
yeah.
You got to the door. Come on. What's RTE like from a disabled access point of view?
You go through the kind of the main entrance, and then there's kind of do you know there's like flippy up what you call them?
Access gates, I suppose.
Yeah, access gates. So you have to go up to them and say, I'm here for...
Don't you know who I am?
Not quite yet. Let's let's hope we get to that point at some stage.
Yeah, you will.
But I was kind of looking at like the visitors and the staff. They're like separated, but like they're right next to each other at the same time. You know, there's like the hut in the middle.
Yeah.
So I was kind of going, let's hope the next time I'm coming in here, you know, it's a staff capacity. So that was a little bit surreal. So you go through the gates and kind of go down to where the studio is, and there is wheelchair spaces there,
right?
Which is perfect, and then it's all flat, which is great. So I met my contact from RTE, who'd been in touch with me to organise everything, and went through the front door, and it was just, the whole thing was massively surreal, because pretty much as soon as myself and Dan, my PA who I brought along for the night, who's a very good friend of mine, he actually went to Vienna with me. As soon as we walked through the door, Ryan Tuberty comes out.
Sweet.
So he was coming out from the studio, and I was kind of like, whoa, okay. And he shook my hand and he said, how are you? And he said, is this your TV debut, essentially. And I was going, my mind was 100 miles an hour. And I was going, well, I was kind of in my head, I was like, well, I'm on first date, so I don't really know. But essentially it was, because, and I eventually said yeah. And he was like, I've heard a lot about you, and this is going to be very, very easy, very chilled. And he was so down to earth and so kind. And it was just like, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you since we got back, but it was like, for the first, I'd say 10, 20 minutes, if not half an hour, I was trying to do standard things. And I was just like, how do I do that again? It was just like putting foot plates on, or, putting the pommel up, or things like that. It was just completely standard things, or like...
Yeah, but you do have a brand new chair as well.
Yeah, I suppose, but like things that I should be used to,
Yeah.
And it was like, the whole kind of situation was a pinch me moment, essentially. And then it actually it came to the point where I was on, I suppose, where the panel was on. So I was on with...
No. Go back to where did we do makeup?
Yes. So yeah, that's where...
Come on, us other people who've never been in there. Come on, tell.
So you wait in the green room.
Right.
So that's where all the guests kind of wait around. And I met with...
Yeah, who are you slumming with? Come on, tell us, give us the list, Dan.
I met with Martin Eastwood, who had been on the episode that had just aired the night before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if our listeners have seen that, but if it's...
He didn't pull at the end, though, did he?
He unfortunately didn't.
No,
and yeah,
he was an interesting guy. He's kind of
very,
brought
very,
himself up from nothing really, and just kind of ploughed on.
very, very interesting guy. Yeah, he's got a 6-figure company. He's founder of a 6-figure company, and a very, very down to earth guy, and really, really kind. And I had a good chat with him, and the rest of the panel. There was a couple there from last season,
Right.
who are together.
Oh, okay. Oh.
They're actually they're
That's the idea, really. Isn't it? Why am I so surprised?
yeah. Who they're currently living in London, I think it is.
Yeah.
So they flew over for it and then stayed a night, I think, and then flew back. So I had a great chat with them, and I suppose you're looking for the celebrity gossip.
Yeah, well, I mean, who else was on the show that night, Dan? Come on, tell us.
So who else was on the show? So
here we go.
We had John C. Reilly,
Mm-hmm.
who is Wreck-It Ralph, and
Stan and Ollie.
Yes, he was promoting Stan and Ollie with Steve Coogan.
Yeah, another legend.
And I got chatting with Natalia O'Flaherty, who is a spoken word artist.
Yeah, she's very good.
I would highly recommend checking out her material. It's
yeah, no, I have heard some of it now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's quite good.
It's brilliant, and she's a very nice person. And when it came to a point where we were kind of asked to, oh my god, my phrasing, when we were summoned,
ushered out of the room.
Yeah. So
sorry, was there snacks in the green room?
There was, yeah. I suppose my nerves, I didn't really eat much.
Did you not just fill your bag or anything, though?
Not quite.
Okay.
Wasn't quite like an Oscars party. I suppose I could have done that.
Yeah.
But so when we were ushered out and called, that's the word, called.
Okay. Called.
So you go out and your makeup is done, because with the way the lighting worked, it's very, very sensitive, So it'll pick up a few extra things.
Yeah.
So they just had to put some of that on and just make me look
Even more beautiful, yeah.
as presentable as possible. That was good. So then after that, I was just kind of waiting in the wings, and they went to an ad break, and then the panel was brought on.
No
Sure.
issues getting the chair out?
Huh?
No issues getting the chair out?
No, absolutely fine. They had a ramp set up, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was, it's not very often that you get to say I followed Saoirse Ronan on a TV show.
Yeah.
So that was quite surreal. And she walked past me in the wings, and I said hi, but it was really timid.
I bet it was, yeah.
It was
I can tell you a funny story about that, but I won't. Go on, keep going.
I was really timid and really nervous, so I don't think she heard me. But I was chatting to Porrick Harrington.
Oh, very good.
And
You like a bit of golf, don't you?
Yes, big golf fan, huge golf fan, and he was announced as the 2020
Ryder Cup captain.
Europe Ryder Cup captain. Yeah, so I was chatting to him a little bit about that and about his wrist, because he's currently injured, unfortunately, and I managed to get his autograph. Very, very happy. So yeah, the whole experience was just wonderful. Ryan made me, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the rest of the panel, made me and the rest of the panel very, very comfortable. And I suppose before we went on air, he chatted with the whole panel, but then he came over to me and shook my hand, and he was like, "Are we all good?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're all good." I suppose I didn't have time to say I was absolutely,
yeah.
you know. So I was
maybe you could smell it off, you know. That fear. Just, I'm gonna go checking this guy over here.
Yeah. So he's like, "Are we all good?" And I was
But you came across really well, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Very articulate. I was quite surprised. No, not really. No, I don't mean that. But you came across really well. Sold yourself nicely.
Thank you very much.
So really depending on whatever happens on the first date, you know what I mean? You'll go far.
Thank you.
It'll be a right good catch. So, anything else then off the Late Late Show?
Anything else off the Late Late Show?
So to come along to Shepherd's Hook then and just drag you off stage then at the end of it?
Well, I suppose with that, the way it worked was, so we were on stage while the performance was going on. This is really embarrassing. Can't remember who was performing.
Yeah, I can't either. It doesn't really matter. I only tune in to see you.
Thank you very much. So we were on, and then when they went to their next ad break, I suppose we managed to get our
right. That was your time to sneak off then.
Photographs and things, and then when they went to the next ad break, we were ushered.
Very good. Back to the green room then for more crisps.
Back to the green room, yeah.
Crisps and peanuts.
I was like, the first thing I said to Dan when I came off was like, I want to do that again. I was just absolutely
brilliant,
buzzing. I was like, can we do that again, please?
Certainly.
Yeah, it was special experience, and one that I'll always remember.
So, and beyond that, you have been busy then. You're also back in town, down in the Oireachtas.
Yes.
Back with Minister Zapone.
Yes.
I believe that was a follow-up from your European trip.
Yeah, it was a follow-up from the European Youth Conference in Vienna last September.
Which is good.
Yeah, very, very...
Good to know somebody cares, and there is actually an interest in what the youth have to say.
Yeah, exactly. So we were... Well, I can speak for me in saying I was very privileged to get that invite. So it was just really a catch up, I suppose, because we.
So was this the Irish delegation that went over then?
So this was myself, Mel, and Dean, who had gone over to Vienna, and Dan, of course,
Very intimate then, really, isn't it?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great access, like to a minister.
Oh, 100%.
You know.
100%. There was Lady Joanne from the Department of Children and Youth Affairs. Claire, who is the principal officer, so she works with
Right.
the minister as well. And then we had the minister's intern as well, which I would imagine is a very cool experience because the minister is one of the most down to earth people. She's
Yeah.
very, very kind.
Yeah. I finally got to meet her myself this week, actually.
Yeah, yeah. She asked us about our opinions on Brexit, actually, which is interesting. And I said that I think there should be another referendum, and I outlined that it was there's two sides of it, and like part of the British population will say, that you're not following the democratic process.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, they're not getting anywhere where they are.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dilemma. And you'll be very happy to hear this, that I did get to bring up our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you'd be making in there then. You never know.
So she's very. I was talking to her about the Disabled Drivers Motor Show.
Yeah.
That we'd done last year.
That does feel like a long time ago.
Yes, it does.
Wow.
It feels like an age ago. And she was very, very interested in asking us different questions about that. So it's good.
Good. Well, I mean, I think we will in the next couple of weeks. I think we'll probably formally write to her.
Yes.
And send out the invite. Which kind of brings us on a little bit as well to this week, where the EU Commissioner was on site here in college.
Yes, he was. So there was an EU citizens.
I got to go. I have to say I got to go to this too, which was great.
Yeah, yeah. So there was an EU citizens dialogue event on in the college earlier in the week, and we were asked to conduct an interview with the EU Commissioner of Education, Youth and
and thanks to Paul Duffy actually.
Sport.
I think he went to one of the lectures here, and one of the lectures kind of came on to us, and so it was nice to get a chance to get the Zoom down actually and do a bit of recording.
Exactly. And we're very grateful for that. So thank you very much, Paul.
Yeah, and the thing that strikes me from the whole thing, Dan, about the youth and youth affairs and stuff like that. When you looked around the room, there wasn't an awful lot of youth there.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a bit strange. I mean, from a college point of view, there wasn't an awful lot of people here from the college either.
Yeah.
There was me and you, and I could have maybe counted 4 young people. I'm sorry, I'm not even young, so I didn't even count. That's why I kept my mouth shut. No, I'm not. This whole thing doesn't apply to me. So there's a very poor turnout.
Yeah, I suppose. I was facing the front quite a bit, so I wouldn't. But I do completely agree. Like from what I saw, there wasn't much, which is quite disappointing. I do know that my colleague from Young Voices, from the National Youth Council of Ireland, was there, which was very nice to see her, and she was asking questions, and we did actually have a few of our lecturers.
We did, but again, old people.
Yeah.
And I know people were kind of putting in questions on Slido and stuff like that, saying why are there no youth represented on the panel?
Yes, which is
fine.
True.
Which is true, but I mean, youth don't exactly make decisions.
No, but I think we can influence.
Yeah, and if you want the influence, they should have been in the room.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's I think it's incredibly important that the youth are listened to, because it's
the children are the future.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I mean, there was the hashtag Future of Europe for the engagement process, and actually I came out of it quite frustrated with myself that I didn't ask a question of the minister, and I think that if we do get the opportunity, I think this would be something that I would mention to her, is that I personally am in a very privileged position in that I have the ability to use my voice and, talk about issues such as this, in whether that be in Vienna or in Young Voices or through this podcast.
Yeah.
And in some way represent people with disabilities. But I suppose I was in, and this is again why I was a little bit frustrated that I didn't ask it. I'm interested to hear from her in terms of, do the government have a plan for getting more people with disabilities engaged in politics or engaged in some level of decision making,
That's an interesting one, Dan.
Yeah.
And like, as far as I could see, you were the only person there with a disability.
Yeah. No,
On the day.
that's my point.
I know, but the invitation went out to everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I suppose.
We know there's lots of, I wouldn't say lots of, but there's quite a few young people in the college with visible disabilities.
Yeah.
But they didn't turn up either.
Yeah. I agree. I suppose.
So the access is there. The opportunities are there. But they're still not being taken up.
Yeah.
You can't prod people into the room with a cattle prod and go, get in there and engage. If they don't want to, they're not going to.
I agree. Yeah.
No, I mean, not everybody wants to be an activist. Not everybody cares. Some people just like to complain.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's just, oh, that's terrible, that's awful, do something about it. I don't have time, or I have to go and get milk now. There's always going to be excuses from people, people like yourself who are interested and genuinely are engaged. Absolutely brilliant. But for every one of you, there's probably 500 who wouldn't be arsed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can lead them and tell them horses to water and all this kind of stuff, but you can't make them drink.
I suppose what that takes me to is kind of, there was a poll on the Slido thing.
Yeah.
Slido thing. Sorry, Slido engagement that we had.
Yeah, the app.
The app. Thank you.
Which was quite interesting, actually. I'd never seen that one before.
Yeah. No. We had used apps for engagement in the Young Voices thing, but I don't think we'd used Slido before.
Because I think that was a .ie type thing. Yeah.
But one of the issues was voted 16.
Right.
That was.
Well, didn't the commissioner have an interesting thing to say about that? Didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
He said the couple of countries that had brought it in at 16, they saw no change whatsoever in voting patterns.
Which I found, as you said, quite interesting, but whether shocking as well, given that there's so many people that want it and then they get it and they don't use it. And I suppose from my personal experience, it's when I first turned 18, the first thing that I wanted to do was vote.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's just me.
There you go again. That's just you.
I suppose.
I mean, I vote. I vote as much as I can. I vote when I get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I do believe it's important. It is important that we do vote. If you want to give out about people and you don't vote, then, shut up.
Yeah.
If you want to make a difference, if you're not happy, get out and change things.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you can talk all you want about an issue, but talking won't get something done.
No.
It'll get discussed, but it won't get stuff done.
No, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
If you keep accepting what you're getting, that's exactly what you're going to get. So then, you've been busy.
Yeah.
That's just January.
Exactly. It's interesting because January is typically one of the slowest months of the year.
Yeah.
And it's actually gone by very quick
Very quickly, jam-packed.
for me, which I'm incredibly grateful for, and I'm very excited for what the rest of the year has planned for me and for us as a podcast. So
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Funnily enough, actually, you can get us at Dan and Darragh Doability. That's at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. If you want to get in contact with us, you can get us at dananddarrahdoability@gmail.com. We're hosting this on SoundCloud, and you can download and subscribe on iTunes.
Yes.
You get us at Dan and Darragh Doability. So I think, Dan, next week, a little bit more about what's coming on. We'll be kind of a bit more news and stuff like that. This is just kind of a catch-up.
Yeah.
Get us back in the saddle.
Exactly.
Again, if anybody wants, if there's anything you want us to cover, anybody you want to have a chat with, you want to have a chat with us, you want to come on and have a chat, get
By
in touch
all
with us.
means.
Yeah, we'll be back on the road again anyway, trying to find people to talk to. I've been Darragh McNicholas.
And I've been Dan Airy, and we'll see you soon.
Good luck.